in color, the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
Betty Anderson Cord waits outside the Peyton townhouse in Boston, maneuvered into a humiliating vigil because she suspects her husband has followed Adrian Van Leyden here. But now she's painfully aware that what she hoped was a jealous fantasy is indeed a reality. Her husband, Stephen, has come here secretly to meet his grandfather's fiancée.
Driver, you can leave now.
Right. Where to, lady?
Just drive around anywhere, it doesn't matter.
Don't stand there, Weber. Come here, come here. Hats are not worn in the house.
You didn't have to do that, sir.
Where's Mrs. Van Leyden?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You're supposed to pick her up at the airport.
I know, but she wasn't there, and, well, she must have missed her plane.
Mr. Plane?
I was there when the plane landed, and I watched everybody get off, and she just wasn't on the plane, that's all.
Really, I wish you'd use your head. There's more than one flight from Boston, isn't there? Get back to the airport and wait for her.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Peyton in? Oh, Mr. Peyton.
Dr. Rossi.
Do you mind taking off your coat, sir?
Yes, I do mind. It is enough checking the other day to last a year.
I've seen the results of those tests.
Oh, tell me about them.
What?
The test.
Well, your WBC is elevated.
WBC might as well be WPA for all the sense it makes.
Would you take off your coat, please? WBC, I'm sorry, I forgot that you don't care for medical terms. WBC stands for white blood cell count, and it's high.
Oh, well, at least I can understand that.
Well, I'm glad you can, because I can't. Now, would you roll up your sleeve and come over here and sit down, please? See, your WBC, your white blood cell count is high, and your pulse is rapid. Your nerves are on edge, so I know that something has been upsetting your system. I want to take your blood pressure now. Your blood pressure's high.
The voice of doom. You remind me of that newscaster fella, can't remember his name, who seemed to delight in announcing bad news tonight.
I can give you a prescription for some medication that can alleviate your symptoms, Mr. Peyton, but only temporarily.
Is that all?
Yes, sir, that's all.
You know, Doctor, you'd never make a poker player. Your face is an exact mirror of your thoughts.
Really? What do you think I'm thinking now?
You're thinking that foolish old man, that patient of mine, is quite probably shortening his lifespan by plunging into a marriage with a woman young enough to be his granddaughter. A woman who, one way or another, was responsible for her husband's death.
Here's your prescription. Get it filled out as soon as possible.
Now, listen. If anything or anyone is shortening my life, it's you and Dr. Riley. He upset me, your friend Dr. Riley, with his comments and his innuendos about Philip Van Leyden's death. Upset me very much.
You won't let me function just as your doctor, will you?
As my doctor, yes. As only my doctor, no. Your efforts to remain upright and ethical are something. You're the model of a professional doctor who keeps his patients at arm's length. But let me tell you something. You struggle as you will, you'll never withdraw from my life.
Mr. Peyton, Dr. Riley told you the truth about Philip Van Lyden.
From his own point of view, you've both decided that Adrian's guilty by listening to just one-sided testimony.
I'm not the judge or the jury.
Technically, no, but you're both prepared to condemn her without giving her a chance to refute Dr. Riley's story. Why don't you arrange a meeting between them so that your good friend can repeat his truth to her face, eh?
Dr. Riley is in San Francisco, and since your future bride isn't on trial, I can hardly subpoena him to make an appearance. Get that prescription filled.
Hit and run, that's right. Hit and run, accuse, accuse, accuse. You turn your back the moment there's any explanation.
This is a new experience for you, isn't it, Mr. Peyton? To make a mistake, to make a disastrous mistake. I wonder how long it'll take for you to admit it to yourself.
Hi there.
Hello, Eddie.
Landlady gave me the message and I came right on over.
Yeah, so I see.
Well, what did you want to talk to me about?
How'd you like to work your nights?
Well, sure. Better be fine, fine.
Well, I want you from 6 to closing.
And I got you. But what made you change your mind?
What do you think?
Rita put in a good word for me, huh?
If it wasn't for Rita, you couldn't get within 5 miles of this place, and you know it.
I'll get it. Ooh. You still get your glasses from Holder, huh?
Yep.
Why so many all at once? You drive up your overhead.
Forget the management bit, okay? I'm hiring you as a bartender, pure and simple. And that means just mix, no talk. Got it?
Yeah, well, all right, but you can't separate the two. A bartender's stock and trade is talk. That's one of the reasons this place caught on in the first place. You remember? You see, there's a certain psychology in a bar that just doesn't seem to work with a woman.
If you mean you think the guys would tell you their jokes quicker than they would me, you got another thing coming. I'm just one of the boys, Eddie. That's why I'm still in business.
Maybe now you can stop being just one of the boys.
Give me that.
I gotta hand it to you, Ada. You've done a swell job with Rita. She's a great kid. All the class in the world.
You wouldn't know class if I kicked you down the stairs.
Rita thinks different.
Rita's just met you.
Listen, baby. You could do a lot worse than me as a front man.
Sure. Featuring Eddie Jacks, straight from the big time.
You'll change your tune when that cash register starts to jingle. 3-to-1 business triples when word gets around that I'm here. I'll bet Patterson and his bunch haven't been in here since I left.
And you know why? Because I wouldn't let them in if they came. Now get this straight, Eddie. I run a clean place here. That means no gambling, no courtesy drinks, no shills. And when a guy's had too much, out he goes. And that includes the bartender.
I'm not a drinker. You know that.
I don't know anything. Except there are 20 guys around here that could do what I'm hiring you to do, and I'd rather have them. Now, the first time you don't show. The first time you get out of line, and that's it. And, speaking of lines, don't cross that one. That's where I live. That's where you don't go.
Okay, okay. I got the message.
Good. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. See you tomorrow. What were those hours again, baby?
Your hours are 6 to closing. Get out of here.
Adrian,
I thought you were in your room.
I've been waiting for you. I expected you to catch an earlier plane.
Were you worried about me?
No, of course I wasn't worried about you. I've got complete faith in you. Now come along and tell me all about it, eh? Well?
You really enjoy what you're doing, don't you?
No more than you do. At the moment, you seem to be playing some sort of game with me. You know, I'm anxious to hear all about your trip, and you seem to be putting me off. You enjoying that?
How can there be any suspense, Martin? You're a genius. You know whatever brilliant scheme you cook up has to work.
Do I detect bitterness or disappointment?
It all went very smoothly as predicted. I went to the house immediately. I meant to talk to you about that, Martin. The servants have kept that place in dreadful condition. It was really filthy. There was dust all over everything. They'll certainly need more supervision if we're going to live there.
Whether we're going to live there or not depends on what you have to tell me, not on the condition of the house.
I'm to get to the point, is that it? Only you know the point.
Are you going to tell me or aren't you?
If you're so eager to know what happened, you should have come there yourself. You could have hidden under a dust cover.
I'm tired of this digression. Was Stephen there or wasn't he?
Yes, he was there. Are you satisfied?
Go on.
He came just after I got there. He came in the back door. Maybe you hadn't thought of that.
Did he go out the same way?
Had you actually anticipated that he'd refuse to leave by the servants' entrance?
As a matter of fact, I had.
Well, he did. He went out the front door and she was waiting in a taxi.
Sure it was Betty?
Yes, Martin, I'm sure.
Did Stephen see her?
No, he didn't. At least I don't think so. Now, if you'll excuse me, please.
Adrian, why are you so reluctant to tell me about your visit?
What do you want me to say? What do you want from me?
Ah, now you're showing signs of guilt. Is that what's troubling you? Guilt?
Nothing is bothering me. Nothing. I'm tired. I would like to go to bed. It's been a long day.
Now then, don't get upset. You've broken up marriages before, and I'm sure you'll break up many, many more.
Are you quite through, Martin?
Have you told me everything?
Everything you wanted to happen, happened. That will do, Weber.
You got them all upset.
I said you may go.
You shouldn't get him angry or tense like that. He's old and he's sick.
What are you talking about?
Oh, come on, Mrs. Van. What do you think I'm part of the car? Or some dumb waiter you can load your packages onto? I've got ears and I heard what went on downstairs.
Oh. You mean you were eavesdropping?
That's right.
Well, what's on your tiny little mind?
I'm the only person in this house that really cares about Mr. Peyton. All of the rest of you people are just out for what you can get, that's all. And money isn't even enough for you, is it? You've got to keep on fooling around with Stephen Cord.
How touching. The devoted servant whose only joy in life is to serve his master.
You want something even funnier to laugh at, Mrs. Van Leyden? I'd make a better grandson to him than the three that he's got right now.
Well, you ought to petition him to adopt you. You'd fit right in.
No, I wouldn't, because I can't talk fancy like you, and I don't know how to raise my pinky when I'm holding a teacup like Rodney or your new playmate. Because I was born down on the wharf.
Oh.
But inside, baby, I've got more class and me than the three of those bums rolled into one.
You're beginning to bore me.
You sound like one of those blue-nosed dames, but you sure don't act like it.
All right, that's enough. Any more of this, and I'll have you fired so fast you won't be able to get back to that wharf quickly enough.
No, Mrs. Van Leyden. I'm just showing you that I'm looking out for Mr. Peyton's better interest, that's all.
Out. Chauffeur.